Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about kind of an interesting little movie. The film we're going to be discussing today is 2010's Pig by Adam Mason. Odds are you haven't heard of this film or probably even seen it, and that's for a very good reason. The film has only been theatrically released twice, and only 20 physical copies of the film actually exist. The director has gone on record saying that he's probably never going to show it again, so it's a very rare and mysterious kind of film. Luckily for us, this is the age of the internet, so there's probably ways you can go about finding it. With that being said though, let's get right into the review. So the film starts out with a woman walking down a gravel kind of road covered in blood. As she's walking down the road, we see off in the distance a pickup truck pulling up slowly behind her. Once the pickup truck finally catches up, a man hops out, picks her up, and throws her in the bed of the truck. This man is also covered in quite a bit of blood, and we'll soon see why. The man drives this woman back to this open field area with a trailer and another woman chained to a pole that's stuck in the ground. The man then proceeds to cut the woman's throat and drain her like a pig in a bucket. A pretty graphic scene that only gets worse as it goes on. While this woman is screaming and panicking, the man takes a knife and cuts open the dead woman's chest. He then proceeds to take out what I assume is a lung and force feed it to the woman tied to the pole. After he's done with this, he goes and cleans himself up, and we meet our second antagonist, I suppose. It's a pregnant woman who he keeps inside of a cage, and he lets her out. She also seems to have some sort of mental issues. I'm not exactly sure what. The movie doesn't really clarify. After mentally torturing the woman who's tied to the pole for a little bit, the man takes a four-wheeler up to a higher part of his farm. We see that he has another man tied up to a post in the ground. The man unties him from the post, blindfolds him, and walks him down the road a little bit. The man then holds up his sniper rifle and begins to use this poor blindfolded man as target practice. The man then unblindfolds him, and the pregnant woman and him begin to mentally torture this poor guy, chasing him up and down the roads, telling him to try and run and get away. This poor man, exhausted, tired, and afraid, eventually just falls to the ground, and the man chasing him has an outburst, we'll say. As this exhausted man is just laying on the ground, he points the sniper rifle at his head and pulls the trigger. And what we get to see is the gruesome aftermath, his brains all on this gravel road. They then walk down to the main section with the trailer again and torture the woman on the post some more, taunting her. I assume that the man he just shot was somehow in a relationship, whether it be a husband or a boyfriend, with this poor woman. They take her to this new gated section of the farm, and the man proceeds to taunt her even more, claiming that he's going to. He jumps on top of her. We don't see a whole lot of what goes on, but then he has another outburst and beats this woman to death. Now, here's a big spoiler warning. There is an ending twist to this film that I honestly didn't really see coming, so here's the warning right here. The big twist comes as this man hops on top of the RV, bathes himself off, and puts on some pretty nice clothes. He then calls a man down from the hills named Richard, and we find out that this man is not really your traditional serial killer. We find out that this man is just some wealthy businessman or individual that is doing this for the fun of it. The film ends with him just flying back to his home. And that's it. Personally, there wasn't a whole lot that I really liked about this film. There was a weird soundtrack going on. It's all shot as if it's one take, and it's just a really odd movie to watch. But honestly, it is a really fun film to just talk about because of how notorious it is, only being released in theaters twice, only 20 physical copies. It's a cool concept, and for a low-budget horror film, it was pretty good. Just don't go in really expecting anything that different again if you've delved into disturbing horror at all. With that being said, I thank you for joining me, watching the video, and this has been the most disturbing films ever made.